Good morning. It is Wednesday the 17th, 7:40 in the morning. You probably just watched a video of a plant close up and then showing a field of nothing but that plant pretty much as far as the eye could see. Just a little context behind that, that's poodle dog bush, which is not something you want to touch. Gives you a reaction somewhat similar to poison ivy. So there are a couple of fields of that. Oh, before this view goes away, let's take a quick peek out. This is what I get to hike to this morning. That is not bad. It's every day's just a pleasure. I feel like I've gotten away from saying it because, you know, I'm just repeating the same thing over and over again, but it's just absolutely beautiful out here. But poodle dog bush, yeah, some people were even road walking to skip sections that have a lot. Even the section we're on now, a lot of people are doing a road alternate because they don't want to get the itchy. Personally, I think it's a little bit ridiculous, the idea of skipping trail because there's a plant. But I get it. I've got pants that I could put on if need be, but that was the worst that it was, and there was still a clear path through. Pretty sure I didn't touch any at all, so I'm gonna keep letting her ride. So yesterday we got like 16, 17 miles, something like that. I think 16 done before noon. So early start, got to a really nice place to take a siesta. I was kind of dozing in and out there for a little bit, but there were a ton of hikers just because it was that good of a spot that everybody passing by hung out for a while. So there were like 8 to 10 hikers probably at one point, maybe even a little more. But nice cool water, shade, place to hang out. And then some clouds came over, and so we actually got out a little earlier than we maybe would have otherwise. And I got to camp at 4:15, which is just absolutely ridiculous, but it was nice. So yeah, sometimes nice to have just a little bit of downtime there when you're at camp. Before you got to go to bed. And it was an actual campground. Now, getting to the water was a bit of a trick. There were a couple of steep hills and almost some bushwhacking you had to do to get there and back. But once that was done, it was nice just hanging out. So we passed the 500 mile marker just a couple miles ago. So, making moves, man. I was thinking about it, about 580 is the most miles I have on any single trail. So, I'm getting awfully close to that, which is wild. I've been working on the Appalachian Trail for over a decade now. And I won't do 80 miles in the next 2 days. But in a month, 2 days from now, I'll be at like 550, which is damn near what it took me about 10 years to do, piece by piece, little by little, on the Appalachian Trail. But it's kind of cool. We're out here just walking, and the miles add up. So, Roadrunner is absolutely insane. She hiked a 30-mile day yesterday to catch up to us, so by the time she gets there, everybody's in bed. But we were really excited to see her, gave her some cheers. We were going to wake up early this morning, but a couple people overslept. I woke up and looked around and saw that nobody else was rustling around. And I didn't set my tarp up, just the bivvy, so my teardown is normally quicker than anybody else's. So I figured nobody else is moving. Roadrunner just got in. She's probably not trying to do a super early start. And I slept for about another half hour, 40 minutes instead of getting a 5 o'clock start. I think I started about 5:40, something like that. So still earlier than normal, but not as early as we were hoping. Good God, it is. We've been very fortunate the past 2 days to get saved by some cloud cover in the afternoon. It might be too much to hope for that a third day in a row, but I'm hoping for that because, I mean, it's 7:40 in the morning and I just grabbed some water, and before that water there was a bit of up, and I was sweating, man. Sweating at 7 in the morning in the desert. I thought it was supposed to get cold overnight, but I've been waking up and being perfectly fine temperature for sitting around, which means for hiking it's a little bit toasty. But we're making it through. We are probably about a week or so out from Kennedy Meadows, which is exciting. We're 2 days out from Tehachapi. Then we got Ridgecrest, so it might be more like 10 days, 10 or 12 days. But we can see it there. It's getting closer. So that's kind of exciting, you know, transitioning from desert to Sierra. Still no final decision on whether we're going through the Sierras or not. I would like to give it a chance, as long as it looks like there are resupply options and it doesn't look like I need true mountaineering skills to make that happen. So we'll see. Safety first. So regardless of what I want, I need to make sure that I'm doing things within my skill set, because what I don't want to do is go out there and then rely on the fact that I have a Garmin, I have a search and rescue button that I can push and helps on the way, because that's not fair to them, right? The search and rescue folks that do that, that puts their life in danger. They're there for a reason, and I'm very glad that they are, but they're there for emergencies, not for me wanting to be reckless. So got a lot to weigh in, got some news reports to look at, some reports of what's going on in the Sierras. People started going in about a week ago, so by the time we get there, they'll have been going in for at least 2, probably 3 weeks, and we should have some better information of what exactly the conditions are. But I'm hoping this heat wave is melting some of that snow, but not too fast, you know, because of the river crossings. It's kind of a delicate situation. You want it to melt but not melt at the same time. It's a pretty tricky thing to do. So I think I've rambled on long enough. Just game plan for today. Hiking 20 miles into Hikertown. Hikertown doesn't have any food or anything, but there is a hostel there. I think we're gonna spend the night not truly at the hostel, but you can camp outside for $10 instead of $25 to get a bed. And honestly, I don't want one of their beds. I'll probably sleep just as good, if not better, on my own setup than I would on theirs. So $10, and all that gets us is a place to stay, I'm pretty sure, which is fine, because they've got water there, and that's the real important thing, because that is the last water source until after the aqueduct. So aqueduct is about 12 miles, 5 miles to get to it, and then half a mile off of it there is a water source. So 17.5 mile water carry, completely open and exposed, no shade whatsoever. So that's why we'll be waking up and doing that at probably about 4 in the morning, getting started. Try to get that 17.5 mile water carry done by 11 would be nice. Take a nice siesta, hike about 6 more miles, set up camp, and that leaves us 25 miles at a wet camp, and 25 miles to go to get into Tehachapi, which will allow us to either run in there real quick on Friday or by real quick, I mean late in the afternoon, or we can get in there on Saturday. Post office is open from 10 to 2 on Saturday, so if we don't get there Friday, that's no issue at all. We still haven't decided if we're gonna do a proper zero there, just one night, or at least taking one night. But if we leave ourselves with only 5 miles, we might just do a Nero, get back out, since we're stopping at Ridgecrest as well in just a few days. So I think that's about it. We got this lovely burn area we're walking through now, but you can see just at the end of it there, we got some mountains. So I think we'll have some pretty good views today. We will see. We're going down a lot more than we're going up. I think the day had about 2,500 feet in elevation. We've already done over 1,000 of that in the first 5 miles. So mostly down from here on out. About 4,500 down, I think, total. So we'll end about 2,000 feet lower than we started. And then that nice flat aqueduct walk. Hopefully most of it while the sun's still down. So there we go. Look at that. All right. Until next time. Oh yeah. One last thing that I meant to talk about that I didn't. For the first time this trip, I think I took the exact right amount of food. I was looking through my food yesterday and the day before, and I was one breakfast short. I skipped one of my complete cookies to make up for that on one of the easier days, yesterday or the day before, I forget. But I think I've got like exactly the right amount of food, which is unusual. I normally bring entirely too much, but here's my game plan to rectify that. So I told you that Hikertown doesn't have any food in there proper, but if we get there soon enough, there are roads that go through there, and there's a market about 5 miles away, and you can call the owner of the market and they'll send somebody to come pick you up. And then they have some food there, both hot prepared food as well as some, resupply food that you can buy. I think I'm gonna skip the resupply and stick with what I got, but if I eat a big old dinner there tonight, that means after a big day on the aqueduct, I get to eat double dinner. And one thing that I found out here is that double dinner is just such a nice luxury to be able to, like, instead of just stave off the hunger and eat a bit, really being able to be a little bit gluttonous. And I mean, you're still probably not eating as many calories as you burn in the day, but really just pile on. And it's nice. It's nice being able to eat like that while you're out here. So that's the game plan, is keep the same amount of food, that's the exact right amount of food, but get another meal so then I can eat more now and later. So that's the plan. All right, just a quick little update for today. We woke up at 3:30, got on trail by 4:15, try and hike the aqueduct before it got too hot. It is currently 2:50, but we were able to get to water and some shade and spend a good chunk of the middle of the day underneath the bridge hanging out. So slept a little bit, not a ton. Probably gonna try to make it as early of a night as I can tonight and still wake up a little bit early, but not as early for tomorrow. We got in just a little bit after 10:30. I got 16 miles done before 10 a.m. Had about 1.5 miles to go. Got into water in our siesta spot where we ended up hanging out for about 4 hours. And now we're back at it. Got 6.5 miles to go. The sun is obviously not down, but it's not nearly as hateful as it was. And there's a breeze. We're in the middle of quite a wind farm. Every direction you look, there's turbines. So that's about it. It was brought to my attention that tomorrow's going to be 1 month on the trail for me. It's already been just a couple of weeks. Wish I had some deep reflection or thought, but really, nothing comes to mind. So we're just going to keep hiking. Yesterday was great. We got another early day. We've been kind of shifting the miles towards the morning, staying out of the sun as much as possible. Yesterday we pushed it a bit. Got into town, which is pretty. Turns out just a guy's yard that he made like a fake town in, and now it's hiker town. So that's kind of cool, I guess. But we got in there, got a ride down to the market, and I had 2 double cheeseburgers with some sort of pastrami or something on it too. 2 of them, plus a giant hot dog, and some fries with like some steak and cheese and stuff on them, and half a tub of ice cream. So that was exactly what the doctor ordered. It definitely hit the spot in the middle of a long food carry, being able to get 1 day of town food in there. So today's been a full day. We'll end up being at like 23, 24 when all's said and done. Tomorrow we're looking at doing as close to 20 as we can. We might have to leave it a little bit short just based on what camping options are available. And then Saturday morning, just a quick 5 to 10 miles into Tehachapi. Taking a rest day, but that rest day, just kind of where we're at in the trip, we're going to need to take some time kind of as a group and talk about, Sierras, what we think about that, kind of what we're listening for, looking for, and then also making sure that we're planning, have everything we need where we need them. I think I'm pretty much set, with the exceptions of making sure we know where our bailout points are, that we have maps, paper maps with more detail than what they have on the Far Out app on your phone, showing, topo, bailout points, forest service roads, that sort of thing, as well as crampons in my bear can. But all that I can hopefully get at Kennedy Meadows. We'll see. REI has their 20% going on right now, so I might use that. Have them send me some crampons to Kennedy Meadows, but those are all the details we got to hammer out this weekend. So I think that's all I got for now. A little bit of a tougher day today, just altering the sleep schedule and stuff like that, but really the hiking wasn't bad. But we've got the next 6 miles. We go up a couple thousand feet elevation, and it's still pretty toasty outside. We'll see. But so far, so good. Until next time. Good morning. It is May 19th. I have officially been out here for 1 month. It is 6:22 in the morning, still pretty early. That sun actually just came up over the crest of the hill. Haven't even put my sunglasses on yet, but we'll probably need to do that. I'm not sure what you could hear or not hear in my last video. I know it was pretty windy. I haven't gone back and listened to it, so just as a real quick overall recap, did the aqueduct yesterday. Woke up super early, started at 4:15 and had 17.5 miles done from Hiker Town to the bridge that had a water source under it by 10:30. So pretty good. It was all pretty flat, so that made quick miles, but it was a touch boring. It was fun early on, all walking together in a group, but it soon became monotonous, and got to listen to some Harry Potter, so that made it go by a little bit faster. Hanging out under the bridge was cool. Hung out there for like 4 hours, and then a nice windy walk through that wind farm down there to get up to camp. Luckily, camp was a bit sheltered from the wind. It was still windy down there, but much less so. It was down kind of in the nook of a valley. I was the furthest one up that nook, so furthest tucked in towards the mountain. And the wind really wasn't terrible for me, but a couple other folks have been complaining about how windy it was last night, so I guess I lucked out. Slept pretty good. Not great, but pretty good. And out here, we take pretty good. So, what I've kind of been thinking of this morning is just how this trail seems to just be one mini quest after another. Like, you've got the overall broad journey of trying to get to Canada, and then there are little obstacles, there are big obstacles, but there's always something. And today, that is yet again sun exposure and water carries. We have a potential water source about a mile ahead. I think that one will probably be there. There was a comment just a couple days ago saying that it was still flowing, but it's not actually listed on the map. It's only listed as a campsite, not a water source. But I think we should be good there. And then there's no guaranteed water from there until Tehachapi, which is about 22, 23 miles, something like that. So we might end up doing a big day today. There is a water cache about 16 miles from where we started, so that'd be about 13 and a half miles from this water source that I'm getting ready to see, which really isn't bad, but you don't want to rely on water caches, you know? What if the person who maintains that isn't there, if people aren't putting in the comments when it's getting low so they can monitor it, things like that. So game plan for today was early miles. I started at 5:30. I was actually aiming for 5, but I woke up, rolled over onto my back, looked up at the stars, and it was just absolutely insane how many stars were out. You could see the Milky Way and how it was a little bit brighter there, and just so many stars being out here in a bit of a remote area. And I was looking at that, and next thing I knew, I opened my eyes and there were less stars. The sun hadn't come up yet, but it was just starting to lighten up the sky just a touch. And it was like 4:50, something like that. I was originally planning on getting on trail about 5:15, but I hurried up a bit, got on trail by 5:30. Went to take a morning brown blaze this morning, and I found some buried treasure. So that was a first and hopefully a last, but probably not. So I dug my hole, did my business, covered up the hole, and while I was over there, it was in this nook of the mountains and not a ton of places where you could go. And there had definitely been people there. There was actually a trowel just sitting out, a plastic trowel. Didn't look broken, but it was there. There was a stick sticking out of the ground, which is normally a telltale sign that somebody's used it. And I got done and was like, well, I don't really want to leave this for somebody else to find buried treasure. I'll put a stick or a rock over it. And there weren't any sticks close by, but there was a big old rock. And I was like, oh, I'll pick this up and put it on there. And I picked it up, and somebody had not actually buried their business. They had just gone and then put a rock over top of it. So that was gross way to start the morning. But we're here. We're making miles. We're making things happen. So could have been worse, but it was unpleasant nonetheless. So back to trials and kind of one peril after another, you might say. So today we've got our water carries, and I think that's going to be continuing. Somebody was saying that the section from Tehachapi that we're going to hit probably tomorrow. So the plan, I'm not sure if I went over that. The plan is, if there is water at the water cache, we're going to camp on the mountain tonight. If there isn't, we'll do a long day and get into town late tonight. I think we're all hoping for not a super long day and camping on the mountain. Not that we couldn't do the long day. 25 miles isn't terrible. We did 24 yesterday, but it saves us all a little bit of money. None of us mind sleeping in our tents and on our mats. We wouldn't be out here if we did, and then that way we don't have to pay for 2 nights of hotel or accommodations wherever we end up staying. Save a little bit of money. But apparently walking out of Tehachapi is the driest section of the desert, and there are multiple 30 plus mile water carries. So that'll be fun, or at least interesting. I think the longest water carry I've done so far is about 17 miles, what we did yesterday. So 30, I'm not sure. 30 plus, whew, it's gonna be tough. Might do some night hiking, try and stay out of the heat of the day, reduce the amount of water we're using. I don't know. We'll kind of figure it out, game plan a little bit when we get to Tehachapi. But I was reflecting on this with somebody else in my trail family yesterday. I don't even remember who we were talking. I think it was Roadrunner, but I don't know. We were talking a bit about how we were just ready to be done with the desert. Not that we don't enjoy it, we do. But ready for a change of scenery. Not upset with it, not mad in any way, shape, or form, but just ready to start a new adventure. And then thinking about 30-mile water carries just kind of reinforces that. Well, I'm gonna go just one peek around, but there's River. Say hi to Mr. River. He's coming down the mountain. And here we are. We got a trail register, so I got to put you away and write in this thing. Till next time.